Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Critical Podcast. My name is Jimmy Good, and I'm your host, and joining me this week is my go-to podcast compadres, Mr. Joe Lever.
Jimmy.
And returning from having a puppy, not himself, just getting one, Levi Fletcher. Levi, how's it going?
My maternity leave is somewhat over. Hello,
Exactly.
ladies and gents.
Back to work. Just kidding. No, that's cool. Man, how's it going? Tell us a little bit about
Levi
your
has
puppy.
disconnected. No, I'm just kidding. He's good. He's a little bundle of joy, and
You said that. That felt so forced. You're like, he is a bundle of joy, and I love him.
no, I love him. He's a smart little guy. So
Good. And what kind of breed is he, for people who don't know?
he's a pure beagle.
A pure beagle. Mm-hmm. Is he
Pure
barking a lot?
Beagle. Pure beagle. Yep.
Yeah.
Not. I'm like not too bad. And he's like, burp, burp. No, he's okay. Only when Snoopy's over does he bark a bit. So.
Okay.
Well,
Fair
if you
enough.
got any raccoons rustling through the garbage, you got
Yeah.
a raccoon dog. Yeah.
I'm just thinking, yeah, that's great. I'm also thinking of like Incredibles 2 or Jack fights a raccoon. And you're just like, oh, it's raccoons in the garbage. Send the beagle after him or send the baby.
I wasn't sure if it was like Joe or if it was like the dude from Duck Dynasty that was on the podcast today. So.
He's rough.
You're looking good, Joe.
I do know the Robertsons quite well. Old Beard family friends.
Excellent. Well, believe it or not, we don't talk about Duck Dynasty very much here on the Critical Podcast. We talk about movies, games, TV shows, theme parks, music, whatever we feel like. And we just have a ton of news this week. So basically, it's just going to be news heavy. First thing I wanted to talk about, and I can't believe I didn't see this coming, but now it is basically official for all of the Netflix shows, I feel like, with Marvel, Daredevil has been canceled.
It's about dang time, huh?
3 seasons of Daredevil, and it's not due to viewership. I was just looking into this. Apparently, there have been some outside firms, one in particular, that did some number crunching and found that it was actually really, really highly demanded. So that just means that, well, Marvel's pulling the plug on all this stuff. Levi, I'm sure you heard about this. How do you feel about Daredevil and basically the TV MCU stuff just getting ripped apart?
I wonder if like Marvel's making a play here to, set something bigger coming up. Maybe they just have plans to incorporate them into movies and they're like, you know what? Let's pull the plug on the, TV budgets and shoot it into their movies. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
I am sad to see Daredevil go though. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and a lot of people were really, really sad and angry to hear about that. I think a lot of it might be because they don't want kind of a weird competition with their own streaming service. So I don't know if they could try to do like Daredevil season 4 on that streaming service. I think Netflix kind of has like weird rights maybe to it. Or like you said, they might put him in the movie because I know that I was sad because I really like Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin. And a lot of people were like, we're losing the best Marvel villain. And he tweeted out something. He's like, it's good to go out on top. He's like, what, that's fine. Joe, you just said at the beginning there, you're like, it's about time. Do you really feel that way? Or are you kind of like, man, I am just done with all this?
I just didn't really care. I watched the first seasons of all of them and never really cared to go back.
Yeah, I get that too.
It's not gripping enough, I feel like. I mean, you have it's a proper statement to say Vincent D'Onofrio was great, but it's not enough.
Yeah, well, we liked the first, I know, Joe, we liked the first season of Daredevil. We liked Jessica Jones for the most part. Levi, I don't know if you really liked any of it a lot, did you?
It was decent. I caught a few episodes here and there, but it didn't really quite grab me, at least the first season. I have to watch it all the way through, but
sure.
I heard it picks up at the third season, but then they take it away, so...
Yeah, well, it's weird because like the seasons kind of they ebb and they flow, and apparently it's going to stay on Netflix for a long time still. But season 2, the first half is like about the Punisher, and then the second half is about the Hand, which is like this shadowy ninja organization that's not really very interesting, and they were kind of the main bad guys of the Defenders, and it was kind of stupid. So I think a lot of it, I think once the Defenders was kind of a flop, like, and Disney was moving forward with this, they're like, yeah, pull it back. My favorite GIF though was somebody putting out. Because Jessica Jones is still getting another season and Punisher is still getting another season because I think they were shooting them or have finished shooting them. So the presumption is that after those come out, then they will quickly say Jessica Jones has been canceled, Punisher has been canceled. But one of my favorite GIFs I saw someone put out that was like, when Daredevil goes and you're next, and it just shows Jessica just with a big bottle and just like throwing it back, just like here we go, I'm about to die, which must feel kind of bad to those actors who and those teams behind those shows because they're like, yep, just waiting any day now. Just they're gonna come in and be like, yeah, you guys are done. So it does kind of suck, but at the same time, it would be really cool to have characters like Daredevil, like Punisher, like Kingpin, and maybe Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist be in the MCU in an actual big way, because it's always been kind of hinted at, but there's never really been a true like crossover moment. And I think without that, Disney and Marvel are just like, no thanks. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with all the Marvel stuff when it moves on to the Disney. Is it Disney Play? I think it's Disney Play. I still want a Disflix. I'm always going to call it Disflix. Also, last thing about Daredevil, he doesn't have the suit in this last season. Like the Bullseye's wearing it and trying to kind of basically take his name and throw it through the mud. And it's like, man, there's not enough of this show with him in his actual outfit. Like, I'm just like, I like that outfit. Like at the end of season 1, it's like he finally gets it, and then it's just, I don't feel like you see it enough. And yeah, it's too bad. I feel bad for everybody affected, but hopefully those characters will, apparently they've teased, they said will live on in future projects with Marvel. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Marvel take almost all the same actors and be like, yep, we're making a movie. Like, make a good movie, man. That would be really good. Anyway, moving on down the line here. This is something that popped up the other day. Emma Stone, everybody loves Emma Stone from Easy A, also from Superbad, also from The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, is being eyed for Cruella de Vil in a new Disney upcoming live-action movie. Now, just to make sure everybody understands this, I believe it was Glenn Close played Cruella de Vil in the 2 live-action movies, 101 Dalmatians and 102 Dalmatians. But Emma Stone, very different typecasting than normal. Joe, gut reactions. What do you think?
She's gonna go on a diet, become emaciated. They're gonna, give her prosthetics for wrinkles and all that sort of stuff. I don't know what they're doing. Before 101 Dalmatians, there were 2. I don't know.
Okay, sure. Do you think? I wonder if it'd be more of like a character study of like her, if it's like Maleficent, where you just take the villain and you show like their backstory and like why she like hates dogs or animals or loves fur.
This is Cruella de Vil making all of her fur out of Dalmatians and dogs.
Yeah. So, do you like that casting?
Yeah, sure. Emma Stone can do anything and do anything well, I think. So, could be cool. Could be cool. I can see how she'd fit, depending on what they're going for here.
Sure. Levi, how about you, man? And now that you have a fresh new beagle puppy at home, how are you feeling about Emma Stone as Cruella de Vil?
Take mine. No, just kidding. That's very odd. Very odd casting. I don't know how she would do as a villain character.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't see Birdman, though. So I've heard she's a good, like, she can be a serious actor, too.
Oh, yeah. I don't doubt that. I think that she, she's definitely got the acting chops for it, but I'm curious to see how she's going to do in a role like that where she's got to be kind of funny, kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, well, apparently, what I'm reading here, too, is that looks like a potential 80s punk rock origin story. That's from the AV Club.
Wow.
Interesting choice.
Cocaine and fur coats.
Yeah, I don't know if that's... I just want to double check and make sure this is Disney, because I was like, this doesn't seem like... Yeah. Okay, yep. So... Okay, interesting. I can see why she'd be drawn to that role. Like I said, I kind of going against her typecast, saying that I can be a little bit more versatile than just being like kind of the, very friendly girl next door, which she typically is in these movies.
What's the other movie she was in with Gosling?
So it's La La Land or Crazy Stupid Love. Is that what it is too?
Oh, both of them, but La La Land I know was crazy successful. But...
Yeah. So I just thought it was interesting. I just wanted to bring it up for a hot second just because I thought it's like that. It popped up on my phone. It's like, what? Like I wouldn't pick her right away, but I think it makes sense now. So yeah. Also, I like her a lot. She's my favorite thing about the Amazing Spider-Man films. She's like the only reading quality. Oh my gosh. Oh boy. Super not great. I was gonna say super bad.
She's good at that too.
Looks like we got a new Far Cry game teased. Believe it or not, we're going to see more of this at the Game Awards, but the teaser here is a nuclear explosion that looks like it's in the same setting as the last game in Hope, Montana. Spoilers for Far Cry, but end of that game ends, I think, either way with a nuclear blast. I think Maybe
Really?
not. No, it doesn't. No, not necessarily. Anyway, a lot of people are thinking that. Well, at least I was gonna say, I know for me, this is a perfect time to show this, especially with the kind of disaster of Fallout 76, which we'll talk about later. But to kind of be like, Ubisoft's like, hey, we know you don't like your Wasteland games, but here's one a coming for you, which I thought was interesting.
Far Cry 5.5, 5.5.
It seems it might be that, Joe, or it might be
Is
a
it
brand new one.
DLC?
We don't know. I don't know. They said a new game. Now, the interesting thing about this is that kind of a lot of this trailer focuses on like a saw blade that's like flying in the air after the explosion. It lands, and then eventually over time, somebody picks it up and makes like a new kind of crossbow weapon with it. So this would be fascinating because most Far Cry games like Final Fantasy don't tie in together like this. So this would be cool to see like a direct continuation of saying like, hey, you know what, like this Far Cry 5, this is what happened, Far Cry 6 or whatever you want to call this, and then you're like in that world and you can go back through this world and the map, which in a smart way you could reutilize like a ton of your assets and just be like, well, this was a barn, now it's a destroyed barn, you know, like you can really play with it a little bit. But Joe, as somebody who played a lot of Far Cry 5, especially with me, how do you feel about an announcement of a brand new Far Cry already?
It's crazy soon, which made me think is a DLC. But
yeah, that's what I thought too. And it could still be. We don't know for sure. They've done 3 DLC packages already, though, and they said it was a new Far Cry game.
Oh.
So that's the reason I think like,
what was the DLC they released prior to this? I haven't been back in quite a while.
They did 3. They did one where it was in Vietnam. They did one in space, and then they did a zombie one. Yeah.
Is DLC to Far Cry 5?
Yes. Yep, and they were like their own separate things, though. They were like their own separate mission structures and campaigns. It wasn't like the whole map is all space. It wasn't like that. Yeah. Yeah, I heard mixed things. I didn't hear super great things, but that's why I don't think it will be DLC. Yes, yeah, that was all add-on stuff. Yeah, Levi, how about you, man? What do you think about this? Like Far Cry, like maybe you're not the biggest fan of Far Cry, but you know, how do you feel?
It makes me think, is Far Cry becoming like the next Assassin's Creed?
Dude, good call. Ubisoft ready to go.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes me nervous. I've never been a big fan of Far Cry, but I heard the last one did well. People liked it.
Yeah. So my question to you is, you like Fallout to some degree. You know, I know that you like Fallout 4 and stuff. Would a game, is it not so much that like it's a irradiated wasteland? Is it more just that you like how Bethesda has done the Fallout games in the past and that's why you like Fallout? Or does this maybe the same similar kind of take with Far Cry, would that interest you more than previous Far Cries?
I don't know. See, right now I'm just actually like done with the whole post-apocalyptic world. I'm just kind of over that right now. If you know what I mean. Far Cry, or yeah, I mean, if they take on that setting, and is it supposed to be the full thing, or is it like the shape of the story and that's how it happens, or what are they playing at?
So it seems like from the teaser, and again, this is all hearsay and conjecture, so please, like everybody, after you watch the Game Awards, which I believe is tomorrow night, maybe we'll know a little bit more about this game. But basically, at the end of Far Cry 5, one of the endings is that you can have like a nuclear explosion happen. So it looks like this may take place in that same area, and then also you'd be like scavenging weapons and like kind of building them, as opposed to other games where you typically just buy them. You just be like, oh yeah, I can buy this gun, and now I have this cool gun. Yeah. So that's kind of what the vibe is. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was worth bringing up. I just saw it pop up and I was like, wow, maybe are they too late to the party on this? Is it the perfect time to strike because people are pissed about Fallout and they're like, hey, we also have a nuclear wasteland game. Like, there you go. One game I would love to see take on that is Assassin's Creed. Could you imagine Assassin's Creed in like a nuclear like wasteland? Oh my gosh, you're like just irradiated water just drowning somebody. Yeah. I liked Far Cry 5 a lot. Joe and I think we had a pretty good time. I enjoyed it. I know it had some bugs, but it wasn't that bad. But I guess I'd be interested to see how they take this. But it is very quick to go back to another Far Cry. I'm like, all right, we just got out of the madness. So that was Far Cry 5 and we're already going. But it sold really, really well. And I think that's one of the reasons Ubisoft kind of is like, all right, next game. Like
it sold well, but I heard rumors it wasn't well received.
Excuse me.
It wasn't well received. I think. Well, I know I gave it a pretty. I think I gave it like a 9. Not saying that like my score is the only one, but I don't know what it got on. Let's just do a fact check quick. Why not? Metacritic, huh? You guys don't want to take a guess? It's soon tight.
Levi's allergic to dogs, and he just got a puppy.
No, that's what he used to tell me. What do you guys think Far Cry 5 gets on Metacritic? Take a guess.
8.
I see for PC reviews here 78%. I see on PlayStation 4 81%. Yeah.
So pretty close.
Yeah, which is usually, like, honestly, for this type of game, that's pretty good. Because a lot of times people are just, it's like much lower. But yeah, so I'm not surprised. Assassin's Creeds typically get those two, except for the last two. Last two have done pretty well. Anyway, let's move on to talk about something that I'm really excited about that we're still not sure about. That could be exciting for Joe, but we have no idea what they're doing. Rocksteady, you guys know them. They make the Arkham games, Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight. Not Arkham Origins, different group. But a lot of people have been theorizing ever since they made the trilogy of Batman games that the next logical step is Superman, which I think is quite a jump in logic, because just because you make a Batman game and he's DC, and obviously Superman's a big deal, it doesn't mean you could just make a Superman game, because think of like the Batman games and how different it would be if it were Superman. It wouldn't be like, I have to go through a door. He'd be like, I just ran through all the doors. Like, there would never be like a place he couldn't get to, unless it was like kryptonite walls or something. But like, that game would be so different. He just fly straight up in the air, hover, look around, be like, oh, there's Joker.
He doesn't lend himself well to a video game of that style. I mean, he fits in like the Capcom 1v1 fighting games or whatever it is, but
yep, exactly. And that's why it's interesting, because a lot of people have been ramping up the speculation talking about this stuff, because something popped up. Was it a listing for Superman World's Finest, which people would take as being like Superman and Batman, maybe even Robin. So they're like, oh, maybe Rocksteady will make like a Superman and Batman game like together. And Rocksteady has come out now and said, this is the co-founder of Rocksteady, he said he's looking forward to the Game Awards this year. We're still hard at work in the development bunker. But he said, when it's ready to show, you'll be the first to know. Spoiler, it's not Superman. So a lot of people are joking and saying, what if it were Superman and Batman? And they're like, it's not just Superman, but Superman and Batman. I don't think that's the case. A lot of people are still fighting for Batman Beyond. There's been a lot of talk of the end of Arkham Knight, that it alludes to it. The true ending might allude to Batman Beyond. But then there's my theory. Do you guys want to hear what my theory is?
Mm-hmm.
Guess who it is? It's this guy right here. It's Deathstroke, an M-rated game. Take all the things you did in Batman that was so good and make a friggin' Deathstroke game. It would put him on the map in a way that like Origins kind of did, and like, oh my god. And they could make up for the fact that they ruined that character in Arkham Knight. How cool would a Deathstroke game be? I made a video about this. Deathstroke game. Please, Rocksteady.
They ruined Deathstroke in Arkham Knight?
Yes. Okay, quick spoiler.
Is he popular enough to garner mass investment?
If they give him a game, and because Rocksteady already has all these engines in place, they wouldn't have to make like a bunch of stuff from scratch. That's the thing, is like he lends himself to this world, like the style they've already made pretty well, right? And I think he's just so close. He's like the Muppets. He's so close to just being in the mainstream, baby. He's just clawing his way. End of Arkham Knight, though, you have to do all these stupid Batmobile missions, which the Batmobile's fine at first, but then it starts to get a little jarring. At the end, you fight Deathstroke. It's like one of the last things you can do to fight, as far as like the tank stuff goes. You fight him in the tank. He jumps out, and you're like, sick. I'm gonna fight Deathstroke. In Origins, it was like the best boss fights, one of the best boss fights like in any game. He jumps out. Batman takes him out of the air immediately. Jumps up and just tackles him down, and it's done. It's Deathstroke. You can't just take Deathstroke out in one hit like that. Oh, it's so frustrating. It's like, it really pissed me off. I was so excited to see him, and it was like the biggest flaw in that game for me, because I'm obviously horribly biased, and it probably won't be Deathstroke, but what if it were? And there is a little bit of precedence for this, because when they were making Arkham Origins back in the day, that team was going to go on and actually make like a Suicide Squad game, maybe like a Deathstroke game. So the idea is there. It's been planted, baby. It's ready to go. I just wanted to take off. Oh god, an M-rated babe. Oh, just like cutting people down. Oh, woo, like literally killing people in these games because you're Deathstroke. You'd have to, like, it'd be a Hitman game, but it's Deathstroke. I'm sorry, I'll digress. But anyway,
the Batman Beyond thing.
Emote more, but yeah. See, the thing with Batman Beyond is you have to make the levels a little different because you can like hover. He's got the jet boots, and then he also has invisibility. But you could still work with that, I think.
It's like Predator.
Yeah, I think Batman Beyond that's the one everybody talks about, and it'd be really cool to get Kevin Conroy to come back into the voice of Batman, and then also Will Friedle, the guy who did the voice of Terry McGinnis, or Boy Meets World, he's Eric Matthews, to have him come and reprise that role because a lot of people love him, especially our age, like they remember him very fondly. And I think, like Batman Beyond would be a close second. I'd be so happy with that. And like, you know what? Cool. I wish they could do their own thing and make something brand new. I just don't think they're going to. I think WB they've got the feet to the coal, as it were, with these guys, and they're just like, you're friggin' making DC games, baby. Like, especially before Marvel gets their Avengers Square Enix game out the door. But yeah, thoughts on that, boys? Any other recommendations besides the Batman Beyond or Deathstroke?
Not really.
No. How about you, Levi? How does this sound to you? Is there one you prefer over the other? Say Deathstroke.
I do like Batman Beyond a lot.
Batman Beyond's great, dude. And also you have like all the servo motors and stuff. It would make sense you could flip across a room now because, like, how does Batman do it? I mean, his suit's got some mech stuff in it, but yeah, Batman Beyond, dude. Plus, that world would be so cool if they went like super future with it, like the show. Oh man, that'd be cool. Or they'll just do a Smallville Clark Kent. He can't fly yet. Joe would love that. Joe, how crazy would it be if they made a legit Smallville video game where you play as Clark Kent getting your powers, but you can't fly until the very end, and you're like walking around Smallville? Just,
dude, it would be awesome. I don't know why they haven't done it yet.
Because he's too difficult, Joe. He's too much.
No, nonsense.
Nonsense. Of course, nonsense. All right. Last big thing I want to talk about here today. Captain Marvel trailer 2. I'm gonna just pull a timestamp here, as I'm gonna forget to do it. So we don't need to talk about every trailer here, and I don't want to do this with each one that's coming out, but I do want to touch on this one because I think it gives us a little bit more than the teaser trailer did. So basically, we have a new trailer for Captain Marvel, which you should check out. There we go. Those are the words. Basically, kind of fleshing out the story a little bit more. My question to you, starting with Levi, how do you feel about Captain Marvel now after seeing this and the teaser trailer?
I don't know if it's like her acting. Something about Brie Larson's acting seems a little stale, or maybe it's just like her dialogue. Seems a little like kind of monotone.
Yeah.
Is it just me?
No, I agree with you. I'm glad somebody else said it because people are saying she has more personality in this one, which I think she does, but that's because she barely, I don't know if she talks in the first one. Almost, she barely talks at all in the first one, but this one she kind of has a little more.
Just the way she's like, I'm going to end it. Like, can you say that a little bit more enthusiastically and like a little bit more passion? But
yeah,
I guess we just got to see the movie.
Yeah, but is there anything that, like, from what you actually saw besides her, was there things that you liked?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be really cool. It's like taking a '90s movie and a Guardians of the Galaxy and smashing them together, and I don't know. I'm excited. Looks cool.
Yeah. Joe, how about you? Now that you just watched this, like, right before we started.
Yeah, I think it's gonna have a. I don't know. I'm wondering how. I think what we see here isn't necessarily enough to go on for how the movie's going to feel and make you feel, and how over the top it'll be. I'm expecting it to somehow tie into what we most recently saw coming up. For after Infinity War, I want to see some sort of tie-in that connects the dot. And they're going to use it as a play to get people even more amped up for Infinity War, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like something revealed that's like, oh, that's got to play a part in Infinity War, and not just her as a character, but some sort of through line,
Yeah.
So
that's true.
I don't know. They take a bit of a serious tone to it, and they do a good job. It looks like of establishing how she came about and the history and the different players and whatnot. All of which I think is good, and it'll be a very good catapult into April.
Yeah, it's interesting because
when does this come out? Sorry to interrupt.
I think it's March, but going into April. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think people have been interviewing and talking to Kevin Feige about it, and he mentioned that it was going to be a different type of origin story, which is really good because between that and his kind of thoughts after seeing Wonder Woman, saying that he really enjoyed Wonder Woman, but this is going to be different, than we're not just doing that. And I know a lot of people would be like, why is everyone just going to like compare it just to Wonder Woman? But I think nothing exists in a vacuum. And I think that it's just going to get those comparisons regardless. But I hope that there's room in people's hearts for both characters, because there's like some it was like Huffington Post was like, watch out Wonder Woman, or step off because like Captain Marvel's in town. And it's like, when they do that for the other movies, it's not like when Batman shows up and they're like, oh, step out of here, Captain America, like Batman's in town. Like,
Yeah.
but I think it's something that Marvel really has to prove that they can, nail this home. And it seems so far that it could be that. I agree with Levi though. There's something about her delivery or her lines or something that seems kind of like almost forced, or like she's just reading them. Like, you got Samuel Jackson, Nick Fury, who's like, so you guys are like the Kree are a race of like noble warriors, and she's like, heroes or warrior heroes, and it was like, okay, like, and maybe she's
flat. Yeah, it just
and
seems a
maybe
little
she's
flat.
maybe she's supposed to be, because she's supposed to be like a brainwashed like human turned into like a Kree hybrid. So maybe she's supposed to be kind of, they're like, don't have a lot of emotion, which I think was to the benefit of like any superhero. I always love seeing more of that. Like with Captain America, that's another one where like as those movies go on, you get more emotion from him as opposed to just like, stars and stripes. Like everything's good all the time. And like the more you see in those movies, you're like, man, this guy's troubled. So I don't know if they're just going to start with her being kind of like bland and then get to that point, or if she'll always just kind of be stoic and just be like, you know what, everything I can take on, not a big deal. So yeah, I'm excited about it, but the first trailer got me more interested because it is a teaser. I feel like they show so much in these now. We got a little look at the Kree, who I still feel like their prosthetics don't look quite right. I don't know how you guys feel about them. There's something about the green guys with the pointy ears that I feel like aren't really hitting it for me. Joe, how about you? You saw these guys.
I don't know what else I could expect. I mean,
Yeah, it's
they
true.
look like aliens. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like when you say this will be different from other Marvel origin stories, that leads me to believe that this is very out there and galactic and farther reaching than even say Doctor Strange, or especially Iron Man, or any of those. I feel like she's going to play such a more prominent role in the next month that they're going to do something larger scale to really solidify her. And Kevin Feige even acknowledging Wonder Woman in that film in the same sentence as his, and saying that it's not a direct comparison or whatever. I just feel like, and knowing that and seeing the success off Wonder Woman being a little bit more relatable because it deals with like actual historical accuracy and whatnot. But this, I feel that they see that and they're like, how do we make this more impactful to an audience other than, okay, this is them, this is how they got the powers, this is what they overcame, and we'll see them next time.
Yeah, and I think you made a really good point there, Joe. Like with the DC characters, they're obviously more oftentimes viewed as gods, and in Wonder Woman, it was like, okay, so it's a god that learns how to be mortal. I feel like in this movie, we're going to get a mortal that becomes like a god and gets maybe more and more detached. And maybe that's the reason she acts the way she does. Is because she's like, I'm just so much stronger and better than every other human at this point, and I'll still help people and care about them, but it's just going to be like kind of detached. Like she doesn't really have much to be connected to. Like she has her cat and she has Fury, but besides that, I'm wondering about, if that's the reason why it's harder to connect with her as a character. And a lot of this
she'll be a little bit of an outsider.
Oh yeah, and I think a lot of that will be because she like has her memories wiped or whatever. It looks like they kind of, she'll be like, I'm kind of remembering these things, and there'll be a lot of flashbacks. And I love that both trailers kind of cut between her like standing up like from 3 or 4 different times in her life. Like she falls down, but she always gets back up. And I like that kind of like, that's a very Captain America quality where he's like, I could do this all day. Like, she'll never just give up. She's just like, I'm in it forever.
Yeah,
So-
and the whole brainwash thing, and she's been like turned into a Kree human hybrid thing, and she's trying to remember certain aspects of her human life before this time. I think that can be a good explanation as to why she is the way she is, or the way she comes off in the trailer as a character. So, I think Marvel. I mean, I honestly, I mean, you have to hold them in such high regard based on their history of good characters and quality films. I mean, anybody can do wrong, but I just don't see it happening anytime soon for Marvel. So,
yeah.
I like the trailer. I think it's very, it's captivating for sure. Good score. It kind of jazzes you up just a little bit, and just a little bit of choreography you see with the fighting and whatnot. It looks like it's going to be pretty insane. So,
Yeah.
I think
you're right about the acting, though, Jimmy. Like Captain America was very much like that too. Looking back on it, so
Yeah, well, I hope that we get like a more of a connection to her, because I really want that. And I think right now one of the biggest problems that Marvel has is that for their female leads, I think Scarlet Witch is a little more relatable because you start to see her plight, especially in Infinity War. But I have never felt bad for Black Widow. Like and that's one thing. And she just looks so like, and that's kind of her character too. But she just seems so detached, even when she's trying to connect with people or when she's trying to reach out to them. I'm like, I just don't buy it. I don't know if that's Scarlett Johansson or if that's just the character, but I really hope that bringing Captain Marvel into it, they can really crush it. And like Joe said too, it's hard not to hold them in high regard. A lot of people look at Black Panther as being like, oh my god, they really did this. They had a black cast that really crushed it, and the whole world wanted to see it. I think it started more so with like freaking the proof of concept of Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, if you can make people fall in love with a freaking talking tree and raccoon, like, and the tree says 3 words basically the entire time, maybe 5 words, but it's just like, man, you've already proven that you could sell anything, so it shouldn't be hard to sell a female-led superhero film. Like, come on, like,
yeah. Just because it's female doesn't necessarily make it super different.
No, not at all. She just happens to be that, and it's like, I don't care.
But there is something to say about a female lead. The acting is different. The humanity that is shown is probably going to be different, and maybe, I mean, Wonder Woman is a gauge of one of sorts in one aspect or another, and one thing I liked about Gal Gadot is the lead is I think the emotion almost shows through better, just through the acting itself. And not that male actors can't show that emotion, or male characters, but there's something almost more impactful about a female, even to a male audience, that can gain a lot of good reception. So
I think a lot of that too was thanks to Patty Jenkins. I think having her there,
female
being
director.
That person. Yep.
Yeah.
I was just looking this up. I was trying to remember who they got for Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck are the directors for Captain Marvel, I guess. Which I just thought was interesting. But yeah, I thought that was another thing that they really should consider too. But yeah, also I just can't wait for a really super strong woman in these movies. I know Scarlet Witch, everybody, I get it. She's incredibly powerful, blah blah blah. But she's not going to be duking it out with Thanos. That's what I want to see. I want to watch just that punch up, baby. I want to watch just her take a hit and then hit him, and I'll be like, yes, give me that. Yeah, I wonder if there'll be a punch up.
Mine, the Hulk got beat the snot by Thanos without.
Yeah, that whole bit, it still kind of bothers me.
It bothers me too. Don't worry.
I get it.
But they have taken the Hulk and they've basically like blended him up into a shit character. So thank you, Marvel, for one bad move and everything you've done.
Yeah,
Thor Ragnarok was a mistake. Take it back.
Levi, do you think Thor Ragnarok and the Hulk are a mistake?
What do I think?
The movie wasn't necessarily a mistake, but the way that they showed the Hulk and some of the liberties they took were definitely a mistake. They took a revered character and turned him into a 5-year-old child that nobody cares about.
I think they took a revered story and turned it into a 5-year-old bedtime story. Yeah.
I think the problem is, and I gotta go back. I know there's somebody listening to us right now. Andrew, I know you're listening, Miss Mage. He loves Ragnarok, and he's always like, "Why are you so down on it?" And it dawned on me, and I think I've said this before, but Ragnarok is not Ragnarok. First off, Ragnarok, the actual storyline is kind of in the background of all this. And when I went to see this movie, I was hoping it would be more of like a medieval fantasy, kind of like the previous Thor films, even though those ones weren't well received. But this movie is a sci-fi adventure, very much like the Guardians of the Galaxy. So I think if you went into that and they didn't call it Ragnarok, if they would have called it like Thor on Sakaar or something else completely different, I would have been like, it was fine. But I just went in, the beginning with Surtur and all that stuff. I was like, this is what I want. And then it was like, nope. Hulk is a joke now. He's naked. Hulk. It was like, oh, you're killing me.
Yeah. I don't mind Thor having a little bit of comedic relief now and again. I think I think he can pull it off well and everything, especially as he learns more human qualities. But there are times when it is appropriate and there are times when it is not. And his planet did get destroyed, and I feel like it got spat on a time or two.
Oh, yeah. It was a joke in the background as it got blown up.
It almost took a back seat to the horrid humor and comedy they tried to put in there. It's like Guardians of the Galaxy. Let's not take this too serious, guys.
Yep. I just wish...
it works for Guardians, don't get me wrong, but this is a different story. You can't do it.
I wish Kate Blanchett would have been the love interest for Thanos. I wish they could have worked that in somehow as like Lady Death, or the physical embodiment of death. I was like, this is a perfect way to tie in.
Will they ever bring that?
I don't think so. I think it's just too weird of a concept. Levi, you know what we're talking about, right?
Yeah. Okay. Thanos' love interest. I don't think they'll ever do it.
Yeah, so people, if you don't know what we're talking about, basically, if you're listening in, Thanos in the comics as kind of a love affair with the physical embodiment of death in the Marvel comic universe, and there's a lot of like people or entities that like this person is eternity, or things like that. So I just think the concept is too like. Like it's like, wait, you love death, and like Deadpool also loved death. There was like a love triangle there, and Deadpool could never die, so he could never really be with death. And it's like, I get why they were like, let's just not even do it. So, which, you know what? I want to say this too. Just because these characters are based on comics, if you want to take liberties with them, maybe they took too many with the Hulk, but I think it's okay. Like, don't feel like you have to be like beat for beat. Thanos needs to be just this version. Scarlet Witch has to be just this version. Like, these movies are art. You should be able to interpret them in different ways. Even if they don't always land for us, I still appreciate to switch it up a little bit. They're different than reading. So that's just what I think. That's what I think. And so many people, they love so many characters and so many directors and actors and things that I despise. But you just got to live with it. It's just like when Detective Pikachu has the voice of Ryan Reynolds and everybody's like, it's the best. We're so excited for Ryan Reynolds. I'm like, no.
I think it's so cute. It's such a good idea.
What? Do you really like his voice? I prefer Danny DeVito. I really do.
I think it's cute.
It's so weird. The first live action Pokemon film, Levi, and it's Ryan freaking Reynolds who's Deadpool.
It just has a weird charm to it. I don't know. I don't really like Deadpool that much, but
I just don't want to see it. I honestly
just like him. He's like, you can understand me, right? Pika. I love that part.
I just want someone to cut the movie and do the Pikachu cut where he's talking to Pikachu like Ash does, but Pikachu just talks to Pika like the whole movie. Like they just sub it over, dub it or whatever. Yeah, I'm sorry, everybody. I know people love Ryan Reynolds so much. I don't have anything against Ryan Reynolds. I'm just sick of Deadpool, and I just can't look at him without thinking about Deadpool now. Because I love Deathstroke. And also, side note, this weekend saw a young woman outside wearing a ski cap that was Deathstroke. It said Deathstroke. It had the little emblem, and it said it on there. And I was like, excuse me, miss, is that a Deathstroke hat? And she looked like pretty embarrassed. And I was like, thank you for existing. It's like, she was just laughing at this guy who's with her. He's like, oh yeah. It's like a Deathstroke hat. It's happening. I'm sorry. Yeah, Levi, I didn't get to weigh in on the Pikachu. I mean, not Pikachu, but what's that freaking movie called? Detective Pikachu. Are you excited about Detective Pikachu?
I am. Yeah, I think it looks cute. I had reservations at first, but the Pokemon look really good, actually.
Do you like that Jigglypuff has fur?
I do. I feel like that's pretty realistic, actually.
Dude, real life, this is what Pokemon would be. You saw the mime,
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
Ugh.
Charizard looked pretty good, pretty accurate. So
Saw the mime.
yeah, Mr. Mime looks. I mean, like Mr. Mime should, I guess. They did
Yeah.
it. They did a pretty good job with that.
What would they look like as real, in nature, real animals?
Jigglypuff,
Dude.
I'm gonna push back. I
Go
don't think it
Google Pokemon realistic drawings, and the dude who did the realistic drawings was actually hired by the people that are making this movie to get some insight on it. So
I just don't. I think the hair is too long. I'm just gonna say that for Pikachu
what?
and Jigglypuff. I think it should be
Oh.
shorter hair. It's a little too much. It's too freaky.
they're
It's just too
fuzzy.
freaky.
I get
That's
that.
too much. It's too much. Jigglypuff is a balloon. It shouldn't be like when that thing puffs up. I don't want it to be like a big fluffy like flopping around.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just saying.
I think we can all tell that Pikachu is inspired by a cat.
It's a mouse.
Dude.
I can't wait for the Nicki
Japanese
Minaj
like their
cameo.
cats, and
Yeah, they've got Meowth, Joe. Freaking, he's a villain. So
yeah, but
that one
I'm
Meowth.
looking at Haley's cat right now, sitting on the steps. It's a fat cat. It looks like Pikachu if it had long ears and a zigzaggy tail.
How much do you think they're gonna pay Nicki Minaj to be in this movie? Do the cameo?
Why would she do a cameo? Because
As
she's gonna be Jinx. Oh my god! Joe and I both got there at the same time. Joe, I feel like we were detectives. We both were like, "It was him, the guy who hired us." Like, you know. Yeah, no, yeah. If Jinx is, I don't like that Mr. Mime is there, but the precedent has already been set. So like, I just don't think they do Jinx, or they do it in passing. There's just no good way to do it. There's just no good way. Yeah. So, but you're excited about it, Levi? Okay. Well, then
Yeah,
you can
I
go
mean,
see it.
we're getting it. We're
Yeah.
getting something.
Yeah. It's the
I
guy.
heard the Detective Pikachu game is actually pretty decent too.
I think I've heard that too. I just don't. It's also the guy from Jurassic World, and the last time I saw him, Fallen Kingdom, he just screams the whole time. I'm like, you're the guy that they picked to be like the main guy for this movie. It's like, oh gosh. But what do I know? Will Smith is making a movie where he's a super spy, CG, and he gets turned into a pigeon by Tom Holland. So what do I know about anything anymore? It just seems like everybody's just doing stuff. Because pigeons are perfect spies.
Hollywood is getting real desperate for original content.
Yeah, they're just
Not a
like that.
reboot. They're like, we just gotta take a bunch of shit in a shotgun and put it out.
I really like that. Just
Tom
like the
Holland.
funnel they put in there. Yeah.
Will Smith, pigeon, connected all together.
I wonder if Tom Holland, like, I think he wants to, be in this business forever. But I wonder if there's ever been like younger actors, like at his age, he's like, I do just like 10 of these, and I'm just like, I'm out, baby. Like he's just like,
That's
well,
all they need to. I mean, look at the Harry Potter stars.
yeah.
8 and then they're set.
I saw Brie Larson. I think she signed on for 7 films, and I saw her doing her workout stuff. Like ET was like filming her, which is like, it's so funny to like be like, hey, how's it going? And she's like doing these like lunges with this tons of weight over her, and she's probably just like, get out of my way. I have to do this. Yeah, 7 films. That's a lot of films.
Jude Law,
Hot. He's great.
super hot as Dumbledore, but not so hot as this character.
Yeah, we don't see him very long. A lot of people are thinking he's going to be Jan-Rog, which is so he's not probably Captain Marvel, which a lot of people thought. I think even I thought that too originally. So might be a villain as well, along with all the other Kree.
Yeah,
So-
I really liked him as Dumbledore in Fantastic Beasts. That movie was shite, but
Really?
yeah, he was good though.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that at all. Did you have any thoughts more so on that?
It looks good. The story's super convoluted. Doesn't need to be. J.K. Rowling should not be doing movie scripts.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people have been saying. They're like, it's too much. It's too much. She's like, how do I take an 800-page book and put it into like a movie? And they're like, please don't. Like, please no. Let other people do that for you, Miss Rowling. Yeah, but when you've got money like her, I wonder if she's even affected by it, or if she's like, man, I'm sad that it wasn't beloved by everyone, or if she's like, whatever. Like, I'll just make more of them.
Yep.
Because people will buy anything she does right now.
There's 3 more on the way. So
Wait, 3 more are on the
there's
way?
5. Yeah, there's gonna be
Why
5. of
are
these.
there 5? Oh my god. Well, yeah, it's Dumbledore. Let's send the zoologist professor to go fight this super dark evil wizard. They're like, he must be well equipped. It's like, how would you send the defense against the dark arts teacher if you don't kill him in 5 days. Oh, anyway.
That movie made for a funny joke though between Doug and I because good old autocorrect. I was like, the Friday before it came out, I texted Doug and I was like, "Hey, do you want to go see Fantastic Beasts?" Except it said breasts instead of beasts, and so he's like, "Yes," and I'm like, "Oh."
I'd love it if you had to go order your tickets up there and you had to say that. And you're like,
Fantastic.
You're like, and they're like, "Here are your tickets, sir."
Sir, that club is downtown. This is the movie theater.
Someone's made. That's probably the name of a bad film right there. Just saying.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind spoiling stuff from it, but it's like they're like, we're gonna give Dumbledore a brother we've never heard about. We're gonna
Albus? Don't you mean Haverforth?
No, it's some other dude now. It's Flash. Flash is now Dumbledore's half brother once removed.
Wait,
because he went down in the Titanic, sank, and then they took him from the baby from the Titanic, and then
wait, not really the Flash. Like it's not
like the Ezra Miller is Dumbledore's half brother.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Flash from the TV series. I was like, dude, good on him. He like broke into the movie. Like he's like, I'm doing all this stuff for CW, and he's like, we're not going to quickly.
This story, it's just there's like a ship going down, and like they switch a baby, and so the baby is like
baby swaps.
Actually, Albus is and it's just like, why do we need this? And Johnny Depp's just like honestly, Johnny's the best part of the whole thing, which is so sad. Funny.
Wasn't surprised.
He was really cool, and like his character didn't really get to shine, which sucked. But
people hate him right now, though.
They do, they do. I mean, he's done some shit.
Yeah, he's done bad things. Oh, for sure. But I just wonder.
But if you're gonna donate your entire salary to a good cause, then
I don't know if it does expunge you though. Like the problem is,
it doesn't expunge you, no. But I feel like you're less of a piece of shit. So.
Yeah, he basically has been accused of like spousal abuse when he was married, and a lot of that stuff. And it's funny because like Disney has now like really distanced themselves from him, especially with Pirates. And there's been talk about doing a Pirates reboot. A lot of the people are thinking that potentially what will happen is Disney's trying to make a connected universe of like ride movie universe. So they're doing Jungle Cruise right now and somehow tie that in a weird way to Pirates that they rebooted or continue in that world. So try to take that.
Yeah, because they released him, right? Did you guys already talk about that? They released him from his Pirates.
Oh, I know. No, I don't think we did mention that. They officially released him from the contracts. That's weird. Mm-hmm. Was he signed on for like one more?
I bet he was, yeah. At least a couple, probably. But
yeah, well, those movies, the last one was just.
Well, they got Dwayne Johnson now.
Yeah, that would be. You know what? I would. Okay, Disney, hear me out. Just don't tell anybody you're gonna do this. Just do it. Make the next Pirates in the same lore and have everybody be exactly the same, all the same actors. Bring them all back, but then just switch out Johnny Depp for Dwayne Johnson as Captain Jack Sparrow. And he's like, "It's me. It's Captain Jack Sparrow." He's like, that's so charismatic that you'd just be like. I know you're like 2 feet taller and you're like 180 pounds stronger. And he's like, I better find a way out of this situation. There's like 2 guards and he's like, like I would watch it. That would be, and then he just punches a dude and he's just like, oh yeah, I forgot I'm Jack Sparrow. You know, he's just like, oh, he's like, oh, this one, the Black Pearl, and this one is called the Flying Dutchman. You know, like I'd watch it. All I'm trying to say is put Dwayne Johnson in more things because he's definitely not in enough movies like Skyscraper. I think it's time to move on to that segment of the show that we all like to call Time Killers. It's the games we've been playing in the movies.
Notice how he doesn't let us do it anymore, Levi?
Do you want to do it? I sometimes I give you the chance and then you both stall and it's like volleyball and the ball falls between you two and then I just sit there doing this for like 20 seconds.
I understand. You do a good job too. You get the
I feel like Jimmy, you should just text one of us before the show and the other ones don't know. Just be like, you're doing Time Killers.
Yeah. It just says you're up. Yeah, that'd be pretty good. And then I just don't text either of you and then you're like, I think yeah. I tried to up my game ever since we had Simon Beekland on the show, and he was like, "I don't have a lot of time to kill." Like he did something really cool after, and I was like, "Oh!" I was like, "This guy's been doing voices." But yeah. So, what have you guys like, Levi? You've been gone the longest. Like besides Beasts 2, the Beasts are still in the suitcase. What else have you been killing time?
Okay, smidgen of Red Dead. Beautiful game. Rocksteady, I will give it to you. I just don't have time to play right now. Okay. Fallout 76 I played for 2 days. Not even. Less than 5 hours. We'll get to that. Pokemon Let's Go. Super good. Thank you. Big fan of Pokemon Let's Go.
What do you give it out of 10, by the way? Just out of curiosity.
Like a 8? 8 for nostalgic sakes? I don't know. 8 or 9.
Pikachu or Eevee?
Huh? I got Pikachu. Yeah, because Jimmy knows this. I can't. I couldn't because Sandslash is my favorite character.
I get a trade. We're gonna trade, baby.
It also wasn't really my choice. I kind of was received the game, so Doug was like, "Hey, I heard you wanted this game," and I was like, "This isn't the right one, but okay."
See, he's just fantastic breasts and friggin' Let's Go Pikachu. Doug doesn't know anything. Oh my god. Anyway, keep going.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. They've done a great job. I don't know. I haven't watched your review yet, but
we just did the review like on the show.
Oh, here. What were your guys' thoughts? To rehash it.
I mean, I liked it. I thought it was good for nostalgia's sake and first timers too. I think it's not like super fleshed out besides that, and there's some cute things I like about it. But yeah, I gave it I'm like an 8 myself. So
I thought it was awesome until I realized that you didn't control the Pokemon and you weren't like the Pokemon fighting. And then apparently Haunter looks like garbage.
He does?
He just looks too big. If you take him out, you can like ride him, and he's just too big.
Haunter looks really big in Pokemon Go also. So
why they make but you're riding on him. Like they say 5 foot. The dimensions in the game are off a little bit.
It's very cute, and I also really appreciate the catch mechanic. I know people want it to be the same, but I'm pretty entertained with how you can like move the Joy-Con around and go to click it, and it's like firing a gun at the Pokemon. Just goes out and catches them. It's in handheld mode. Sorry, not
sure. I didn't really play it in that.
That's the bowling. Yeah. Did you beat it? Are you done?
I did. Did you beat it?
I'm not beating it yet. I have 3 badges.
Okay.
I'm on my way to. I'm going through the rock tunnel right now. So,
okay. Nice. Yeah, I liked it. It was good.
Yeah. But besides that, though, playing Overwatch, I'm a big fan of some of the new characters we've got.
I can't believe you're playing Overwatch. Anyway,
why
keep going.
do you hate that?
I don't hate it. I'm just impressed.
I love it, Levi. Good on you, pal.
Why don't we play tonight?
Yeah, you guys go ahead and play. That game frustrates me.
He will not go back to it.
I'm sorry. It's okay. It's a 2.5-year-old game. We've got like a million other games we're drowning in. I can't, in good conscience, go back to 2016 and be like, let's just put hours into this, and nothing comes out of it.
So I will say, because I was there with you, I was also very bored and just like done with it. The new characters are pretty fresh. They've got some really cool new mobility. They've got some really cool new, game modes and stuff like that. So it's doing it for me. I appreciate it.
What's the new game mode?
Yeah. Well, they've got the like the new skirmishes. They've got the new capture the flags. They have like 4v4 now, and they have like different stuff like that. So.
And any new maps?
I don't remember what their names are, but I know there's some new maps. Yeah, Blizzard World, because I never played Blizzard World. It's pretty cool.
We played.
They have a couple more too. But I really like Brigitte's. She's really awesome. Brigitte.
Yeah.
She's cool. I like her kit. Wrecking Ball, my favorite. Moira, I never played her before. She's really cool. I'm actually a big fan of all of them now. So I feel like I'd rather play the new characters than the old ones, because like some of them, like Ash, she's better than McCree. She's just a better version of McCree. She's faster. She's quicker. Doesn't have as much recoil. Her ultimate's fun. So Wrecking Ball, he's my boy now. I just love zooming around the map and just like spiraling off of stuff, and love that you can just attach to anything. And
I think it's a fun game to go back to, even though I haven't in recent history, and I've been meaning to, especially with the new characters. But I think it's fun because it's like, say you in the crew who you game with want to go back and play something competitive, and I wouldn't say mindless, but something that you've done before but you enjoy, where we've talked about it at length so many times, everybody knows, but it's just fun to get back in, especially if you have a crew that you run with and you make a good team together, and it could be fun. I mean, it's the only game of that style where I have laugh out loud moments like, "Oh my god, my ult! I just killed like 4 of them," or you know, when certain things come together and happen well. And I just love the variety. You know, it's a game of that style where it's normally like what is it, 6-on-6 teams and all that. I mean, there's so much variety, and each game you do is different just based on your character choice.
And they've made a lot of different changes to ults. Mercy's now ult has she has a revive that she just pops up now. Otherwise she goes into like battle angel mode and goes crazy. Torbjorn, he no longer sets a turret. I mean, he points to a location and the turret goes out, and then he can still build it up. Symmetra, she can look across the map and now fire her turret long range, which is cool, and then it will go and stick. So it helps you break into places easier, so you don't have to be there. Her portal's really dumb now. It's just a very short range portal, kind of like Heroes of the Storm with Medivh's portal. It's very just and then Torbjorn, his Molten Core is now on cooldown, so no longer at ultimate. His ultimate is different. So just some different changes, but I mean, it's Blizzard, so they always find good ways to reel you back in. I mean, hell, I was playing Diablo hardcore a couple months ago again, so.
Yeah. Diablo Immortal. You excited?
No. God, no.
It's mobile Diablo.
I don't need another piece of shit phone app garbage game. No.
Yep, it's sad. It's okay. Diablo 4 is on its way. They saw my video, the wishlist video, and they're like, we got to change all this stuff. Jimmy's not going to be happy.
Yeah.
Some people get real angry with those wishlist videos. Anyway, Levi, you've been playing a lot of stuff. That's good. Is there anything else you want to mention before?
It seems like it, but it's very spread out over the last month. But
yeah, that's true.
Fallout 76 is the worst piece of garbage I've ever sunk money into. I'm not even on the bandwagon with the haters. I bought the game to make my own judgments about it, and this game almost has as much garbage in it as Aquaman. So
we haven't seen Aquaman yet.
I don't know. It's just not fun. It really isn't. There's no reason that it's multiplayer. There's no reason that it needs this many bugs. You have the same engine and you're reusing it just like you did Skyrim. Bethesda, stop, because you're better than this and you're ruining your reputation as a good gaming company. Mic drop.
It's very good. Levi, if you had to, this really shouldn't matter.
2 out of 10.
Okay, thank you. Honestly, that seems to be the average score going around right now.
So, because honestly, you took everything that people loved, and people didn't really like Fallout 4. I liked Fallout 4 a lot. But they took a lot of stuff that people liked from Fallout 4 and then they gutted it out. Just like Elder Scrolls Online. So I don't want to wait another 5 years for this game to be finished like Elder Scrolls Online is now. I don't have time for that with the amount of games, like you said, that are out right now and are better played. I'd rather be playing Red Dead Redemption, which is beautiful, than this garbage game. So
it's funny to me because I think Rockstar put something out recently and it was Rockstar addresses issues with online or whatever, and it was talking about this patch stuff, and all I can think is after playing a little bit of Red Dead Online, or playing a little more than a little bit, is that comparatively right now to Fallout 76, because most people I think are aware of that game and all the problems that game has. It's so funny that Rockstar still feels the need to come out and be like, guys, we're sorry about this. It's just where you look at Fallout,
and it's a small economy issue that will be fixed. And
exactly, yeah, it's I get it.
Yeah,
I have a problem with it too, but it's that is so in the grand scheme of that, how that online functions, and it's not the best online ever. I mean, it's it seems kind of hollow compared to the main game as far as character interactions and stuff. But that's just how the games have always been. But you just look at that comparatively to this game that's only multiplayer, and this is all they have, and it's just you don't really have to apologize. Look at this game. It's this is an apology. Bethesda needs to come out and be we are so sorry. It's just and honestly, this is how I've seen Bethesda games for a long time, because I've never really enjoyed the stories in those games, but that's what people mostly, it sounds like, who enjoy, Elder Scrolls, who enjoy Fallout, they love the story. So you take that aspect out of there, and then you've got crappy gunplay, just bugs everywhere, and just a
The VAT
lackluster,
system
boring
is
world.
horrible now.
Yeah,
The VAT system was the best part. It's so nice to be able to like choose a body part of like a character in Fallout 4 and shoot it off. It's strategy. But now you just go up to a player and you're like, oh, click, and you just hit them. And it's like,
Yeah.
what? Why?
and I get where like that's Deadeye is kind of the same way, but they still make it work in the online for Red Dead. So I just don't know why they couldn't try to do something kind of like that still. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, it's so weird. But yeah. Okay, 2 out of 10.
But
Seems-
Deadeye to me still feels like it needs a little bit more skill. You know what I mean? You still
Yeah.
have to line up that shot. It's not perfect.
Yeah, on the online, like the first thing we got is like Joe and I both got painted black. So like when you're like scanning over with your Deadeye, even though things are still moving really fast, there's so many times where I like aim and it paints something where I'm like, whoops, like it'll be like a horse or something, and I'm like, I want to shoot the dude, and I'm just like, all right, I guess we're shooting. Hope we're gonna get what we want.
So how many players are in? Is it server based or?
Ooh, excellent question. Joe, when we played, we had I think it was server based, but we were jumping into each other's games, and there was just like randos, and you'd have like maybe 8 people on a map, maybe 8 to 10.
Oh, dude, I've seen as much as 40 in a session.
Oh, really? Okay, sorry, I haven't.
Yeah.
I didn't see
So
the.
you can like be cowboys and run up to. Is everybody Arthur?
No,
or-
you make your own character.
Oh, you do. Okay.
Yeah.
So everybody's cowboys, and you can run up and like gang up on some other gang and like wrestle them up and like.
In
tie 'em
fact,
up
if you're
and-
doing a story mission and say you're like taking delivering a money bag to some bank or something, or some loan shark, it alerts you and says other rival gangs can come steal the bag of cash, and
Cool.
they happened to Jimmy. So
Cool.
Yeah, but we still made it work though, for the most part.
Yeah.
Those
And that's
tricks.
how you do an online game.
Yep, yeah, they know better, and a lot of it's because they've learned how griefing works, especially in Grand Theft Auto. But in Fallout, it's weird because like the PvP, there's no point. It sounds to it because it's a game about like survival, and why would you waste precious ammunition on a fight with someone if A, it's not going to get you anything, and B, they don't take like any damage until they start fighting you back, and then it doesn't matter who wins or loses because you're like,
Yeah.
well. Yeah, I just think this game was so many promises back at E3, and I was like, uh-oh. And
It
when
looked sick back at E3. Like the music and the trailer, I was like, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
but that's their goal at E3 is to hype it up.
Yeah.
That's all they're doing. They spend a ton of money just to do that promo.
it just
They
so
can
much
be
bad.
misleading.
It's a lot of bad PR for them, and a lot of people are kind of nervous. Some people are, I think, justifiably so, worried about Starfield and the next Elder Scrolls. I think, though, those games are, but this game, Bethesda said it was like lots of people working on this, so maybe that was the problem. They had too many groups working and doing like one or two things, whereas those ones will be more focused. So I don't think people need to be so concerned, but just when Bethesda starts making a bunch of promises and then also joking about their show, like Todd Howard on stage at E3 was like, I've heard that our games have a lot of bugs. And then people laughed. He's like, and I heard that on the internet, and everything on the internet that you read is true. And it's like, dude, yes. Is this like, we'll get to this as a question, but it's like, that's arrogance right there. It's like, your games are buggy as hell. Like, you shouldn't be like, oh, it's like, no, this isn't a joke, Todd. Like, we're not laughing. Like, please, everybody shut up.
And it's got it's got a big immersion crisis right now too. Like nothing feels more pulling you out of the game when you hack into this like mainframe and shut down these bots that are like always fighting you, and then an hour later the same event pops up and you're like, I just did that and they stopped shooting me for 20 minutes and now I have to redo this all again. It's like, why?
Were you running into a lot of bugs yourself while you were playing?
I didn't have a lot of bug problems, no. I mostly had just like lack of, like, it really takes, me, Jimmy, it takes something to really pull me into a game, like Monster Hunter or something like that. And there was no pull. It was just like, everything you loved is still here. It's like, here's a shell of it. And it's like, nope.
Yeah. That's too bad. I wish this would have been an add-on to 4. I wish they would have said like, hey, you know what, for like
yes, yeah,
$20, it's going to be buggy and messed up. But if you bought Fallout 4 or you could buy it standalone, there you go. Like, or if it was free to play.
Engine, why not? Yes.
Yeah. And they also apparently carried over some of the coding bug problems that they had from Fallout 4 that they didn't fix. It's like, ooh, this is such a cash grab. And the fact that you could buy a $200 version of this with like a helmet and stuff, I was like, oh my God.
I liked 4 a lot too, honestly. I know a lot of diehard Fallout fans did not like 4, but I liked it. It was my introduction to the series, my proper introduction, and I really digged it. So
Cool. Well, it sounds like you've been busy, man. But it's been a while since you've been on the show, which is good.
Yeah.
But I'm glad. I should say it's good that you're back. I'm glad you're here.
Thanks.
Joe, on the other hand, my friend, I know you kind of been playing so much Blackout 4, or Blackout. I call it Blackout 4 now, but Call of Duty Black Ops 4 playing Blackout, and you're still loving that. And I hate to just be like, besides that, because you love it so much, and I don't want to take that away from you. So just what have you been playing and consuming? Tell me whatever. Yeah, did it.
I don't mind, Jimmy. Yes, I will.
I had
I'll
Ryan.
skip the Blackout 4 Blackout. Sorry.
Side note, we did have our friend Ryan from college, Joe, say that he does enjoy the bits. He likes the reporter bits. So there's a person who likes the bit. So congratulations, man.
Well, thank you, Ryan. That's a high compliment coming from a man of your stature. Yeah, I guess that's good, Jimmy. But yeah, Blackout been my main thing. I will skip it for now. I'm addicted. We all know it. Spoiler alert, I bought Jimmy the game. Comment below if you want him to stream it. I got you, Jimmy. Yeah.
First off, did not buy me the game. Let's be really clear about that.
Yeah. But I sold it to him real cheap. Cheap.
What did you sell him? Black Ops 4?
Yeah, Haley had an extra copy. My
I
wife.
was like, I thought you liked Blackout.
My wife has her own Xbox now and is addicted to playing it as well. And we've all been playing it. Me, her, Drew, all of us. It's been great. When Jimmy joins, we'll finally have that 4th for our team.
I love how jaded and confusing it would sound to be like, I got him this gift. Actually, I sold it to him. It's
whatever. Either way, I got it in your hands one way or another, and I had to. It cost me a little money, all right. It did a little bit, but it's worth it to have my best bud and a great game with me. I need him at my side to kill people.
Speaking of games, we'll put hours into and get nothing out of, but still continue.
But it's an addictive blast. It really is. It's like a drug, and it just keeps coming.
The morphine, Joe. The morphine is to hook me up, baby.
Yeah, screw that Fortnite crap.
Nice.
Other stuff, I play a little bit of Red Dead Online. It's good. It's more of a game like I set aside the time to play it. You know, I'm not going to play a half an hour and get anything good out of it. I need to set aside 2, 3, 4 hour slots and really get into it and get some things accomplished. It's a little more work in that game. It is fun. It is gorgeous. The online seemed to work perfectly. I enjoy it. I'll play more. But that's really all I've been into. Period.
Cool. I guess that means it's my turn. And the only thing I have to say to you guys, I have a question. Well, no, it's a statement because it's time. It's dueling time. It's time to duel Yu-Gi-Oh. I've been watching some old Yu-Gi-Oh. I busted out. Levi, I remember when I made this deck? I made it a few years back. It's got a bunch of
when we got back into it, and yeah,
you guys were into it for like a hot minute. If you guys want me to reveal this
with us, didn't you?
Yeah, if you guys want me to reveal this, and I said cheap on one of the last shows, I made like a deck of cheap cards. I literally meant like inexpensive, not like these cards were like, oh, they're gonna blow you away. It's like, no, it's just a cheap deck. Maybe I'll show them off sometime. But anyway, I've been watching some old Yu-Gi-Oh because I kind of picked up where I left off as a kid, and it's still a funny show, and there's so much BS in it because it's very much like my monster has a special ability. Like every monster's got a special ability now.
Yeah.
And so like everybody's got like the perfect trap for the moment or the perfect card to win at the 11th hour. So it's all very much like the drama. And you could tell where some of the like the budget seemed to like fall out from some of these shows or like these episodes. I'm like, ooh, Blue Eyes is not looking good. Some of those days, like, ooh, or Red Eyes is looking pretty rough. But still enjoy it.
Does it bug you how the story takes a really weird turn? Like it's pretty good at first, and then like they start doing like some weird Battle City stuff, and then it just gets
I love Battle City.
No, Battle City's great, but I mean, like the whole penguin.
Yeah, I skipped that. That's crap.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, that's crap.
That bothered the crap.
The Kaiba Corp, like
Yes.
the Kaiba Corp like council board or whatever.
Yes.
They suck. That sucks. Skip it. Skip all of it. It's basically filler. Yeah, but Battle City, and now they're going to like I watched them like do like an Awakening of the Dragons, which is like this whole thing, and now they're going to like Kaiba Land to like do this other duel. I just want to see the end of the show because I think I've seen how it ends, but I want to see how they get to there with Bakura being the main bad guy. So, been watching that here and there. And also, I just beat Darksiders 3. I'm going to do a review on it. It'll be just like the Dragon Quest XI one for people who watch that. Probably not as long as that one, but I will sit down and I will talk. I'll put probably some gameplay over it. I won't get too into it, but I will tell you this. To describe my feelings in one word, it is that I am crestfallen. I am disappointed and kind of hurt, and it is maybe one of the most blatant ripoffs of any game that I've seen in a long time, and I'm really sad that it's my favorite franchise. It is a step back and to the side for this whole thing, and it really hurt me. Yeah, it is maybe one of the most blatant ripoffs of Dark Souls I've ever seen in my life. Levi.
But it looks good. It looks good.
No, you're wrong. Like there's some things that look all right, but it chugs a lot. There are like almost consistent loading problems. Texture pop in constantly in every cutscene.
Really,
every cutscene has texture pop in. And yeah, it is just it really hurts me. And just and they do these little allusions to the other games and other characters, and I'm like, you know what, whatever. Like
that's like me in Fallout right now. It's just like.
It hurts, but it's lucky. We're lucky to like live in a world like. But here was Fallout. You're not gonna forget Fallout. Like at least Fallout is like so bad, it's bad. It's not like okay, it's in the middle, you know. And I'm not saying that, but it'll be remembered. This game's gonna be forgotten, dropped like a hot stone. Like there's so many Dark Souls clones out there. Yeah. So, but if you love Dark Souls, you would love this game. You would just absolutely love it. Yeah, because it's just the same game. It's just yeah, but I'll get into that more.
That's a bummer because this could have really put that series back on the map, and
yeah, it just lost whatever little identity it had. Because you look back at those games as being kind of a mixture of Zelda meets Devil May Cry, and now it is just Dark Souls. It is not Devil May Cry combat like that to that kind of crazy extent, and it is not Zelda. It tries to do some puzzles once in a while, but it just, even the items when they drop look just like Dark Souls. I kept looking for bonfires. I was looking for bonfires in this game. I was like, can I save over here? Oh no, that's not a, they even have, Levi, they've got the Estus flask. That's a healing, basically the healing item. It's called Nephilim's Respite, but you have this thing that goes away and it comes back over time. Like you can replenish it. And yeah. The more I played it, I was like, holy crap. Like, so yeah, I feel really bad. Also, they kind of lost, a lot of their team when that got shifted, and a lot of those guys went on to do Airship Syndicate, so they did Battle Chasers, so a lot of the artistic style is not there anymore. So yeah, but like I said, I'll get into it more later.
That sounds like kind of like what happened with Halo. You know, a lot of Bungie left, and
yeah, and a lot of people got.
He's like, we can still do it. It's like, do you really still need to?
The campaign in Halo 5 isn't great, but man, that multiplayer, baby,
it is good. Yeah,
like we went back to it recently. Like I like Warzone. I really do. It sucks sometimes, but I like it. Get that saw.
Colton had a Halo night the other night with a bunch of old friends, and I went and it was fun. It was fun to play again.
Did you play Halo 5?
I did. We played Halo 5 for quite a few hours. So
can we just be hopeful that Halo Infinite is good? Like, I hope it's so cool.
Just do the multiplayer again with a good story, and there you go.
Do the multiplayer, but then also like if they do like an open world 4-player thing, that would be cool too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm just a sucker for that. I know a lot of people are like, "That's not my Halo." Totally get it. That is how I'm starting to feel what the people who got angry at my Splinter Cell video were like I like the newer age Splinter Cell games, and I think a lot of people might like this newer Darksiders, but then I'll just be like, I liked the old ones. I wish they'd make the old ones. So I'm just glad they didn't screw this up with death. Oh god, it's fury. And guess what? Another perfect word to describe how I feel about this game. Anyway, moving on. I think that's pretty much everything. Yeah, I was trying to watch more Modern Family. Do they want me to hate everybody on that show? I swear, like every person on that show is just a bad person now. I'm just like, is there any redeeming qualities? Okay, anyway, moving on to the last segment of the show. Anybody want to call it out? I wanted to
Community
give you
feedback and questions.
very good, Levi. I
Yay!
wanted you to, because I took the other thing from you guys.
I had to like dip my toe into the pool just to make sure that was the direction we were heading.
That a boy. I asked our lovely Legionnaires, because Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is upon us, and I made a video about it. Quick, just aside. Yes, I know a lot of these characters that we brought up are assist trophies. That doesn't mean that they couldn't still be in the game as playable as DLC if Nintendo wants them. Waluigi, I think, could still happen. Anyway, I know.
Not my Smash Brothers, Jimmy.
Did you say not my Smash Brothers? Anyway, so Ryan sent this great gif of King K. Rool. He said, "I'm excited to play King K. Rool. I just want to see how he plays, and he looks like a fun character to play." I agree. Not enough big boys. And Andrew, Levi, your friend, and our friend Andrew Bad Gentleman on Twitter has said, "Always been a fan of Diddy. Banana juggling is such a fun strat." Yeah, banana juggling, like so annoying, right? Just throwing his little banana and people are tripping on it all the time, throwing bananas out. Yeah, I guess I could ask you that quick, Levi. Like, is there any character that you can't wait to play?
Pokemon Trainer. I love Pokemon Trainer. I like Cloud a lot too. I really liked Cloud. So
cool, nice, good picks. Joe, when we get you a Switch, I feel like you're like a Ike kind of guy, big sword, crashing down on people. Maybe like
I think
Bowser.
Joe's kind of like a Donkey Kong kind of guy too.
Oh yeah, Joe.
Ganondorf.
Does that speak? Well, actually, Joe likes fast and quick characters like Tracer, though. So maybe he's more like a Sheik or a Fox.
Yeah, come on, guys. Come on.
Yeah, I'm starting to get it. All right, here are our questions for today. Let's start with the harder of the two. This one comes in from Fraggedin, our buddy Fraggedin over on our Discord. #Critical Podcast. In light of the recent release of massive failure Fallout 76, followed by lawsuits and all-around negativity, we can't help but look at the overall work released from the developer Bethesda Game Studios for the past decade, recycling and constant reusing the same designs and assets while becoming even more broken as each new release comes. Is it fair to say there is an arrogance where this particular studio believes that whatever they put out, consumers will buy it? Is that past praise and recognition really deserving? Heck of a question.
Arrogance. I mean, that kind of sounds right. I mean, they really banked on like Elder Scrolls, online doing really well. So, I mean, it took them 5 years, like I said, to fix it. And they're like, "Oh, we'll just put this out there. It's a money cash cow right now, and it'll just fix itself." And people will wait 5 years again, like Master Chief Collection, to be the game it was supposed to be.
So you're saying that they are arrogant. Do you think that their past praise and recognition are still well-deserved, though?
No. I feel like just because you've done something well before doesn't mean that, you don't have to still keep earning your spot among the best.
No, he's asking, like, do you think, like, Skyrim is still a good game, or Oblivion is still a good game?
Oh, absolutely. They're beloved. Like, they're classics. I mean, I know you don't really like them, but...
Oh, I'm going to give me a chance here. It's good.
There's a good group of us out there that still have hope, but yeah.
Cool. Joe, do you have anything to weigh? I know you don't know a ton about this, but you're familiar with the franchises a little bit at least. But what do you think about all this as an outside perspective?
Yeah, I don't know. It just kind of points to how the gaming community is very critical overall.
Look at us. That's our name.
Yeah, I mean, very demanding, and once something is so good, if it takes a step down at all, it's not good enough. If it takes one little step up, maybe it's still not quite good enough. If it takes a giant leap forward, it's great. Yeah. Sometimes for a game developer, maybe that's a little hard to gauge, but from what I'm hearing, it sounds like some of the issues they're having with this game are much greater in scale than just little stuff.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah. I'm sorry to cut you off there. I was gonna say they remind me a lot of Rockstar games in their arrogance. The problem is that more often than not, Rockstar can back it up and do whatever they want, and they can be arrogant about what they do because they know their products are going to be good and received well, and just so many people will buy them, and it'll be worth the money. And I think looking back at these games, I have never, ever thought that Oblivion or especially Skyrim or Fallout 3 is where it started for me, were particularly good games. They lack a lot of things that people are always like, oh, I love the story. The story is so good. But even a good story, when mired by bugs, a drab and boring world, and just kind of not really engaging combat to me, I think that it's not enough. And I think no one should have been praising these games to the levels that they had in the past. And people are finally seeing these games for what they truly are, because you finally took the only thing that was redeeming about them and took it away. And now they're like, oh, maybe these other games maybe they weren't as good. I thought I loved them, but maybe looking back at them, they weren't so good. So I just think this is just arrogance. It's pure arrogance on their part, and it pisses me
I mean,
off.
if you went back to Oblivion and took the story out, nobody would like it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're not wrong there for sure. But Joe, I kind of disagree with you. I don't think I see what you're saying, that people are kind of like, the gamers of these days are kind of like demanding children. Is that kind of what you're saying? Like they're, people are.
I'm just thinking about. I don't think the gaming community is doing anything wrong. I mean, it's a decision to go out and buy a $65 game. It's a chunk of change. I know, the argument can be made that games are the cheapest they've ever been with inflation, all that good stuff. Jimmy will always say that, but which may be true. But I mean, I still think about, okay, if I'm gonna spend $65 and invest that money and time, this game better be well worth it. And I feel like, I get that a lot of people are like, yeah, this was a no-brainer. It's Fallout. I loved them all. I'm gonna get it. They can't. They gotta. It's gonna be everything I wanted in the last one and more, or came to like in the last one and more. Well, yeah, these game developers, maybe they worked super hard on it. They toted it in E3, saying that there was a huge team working on it, a lot of time and investment into it, but they still fell short. But I feel bad for, it's like Rockstar. They had to take time off to release the online because their crew had worked so hard just to get the campaign out. I'm like, there's people do a job, they get personally invested in it, and then here they have a little bit of a flop, and they're all like, oh, 20% 2-star ratings out of 10. Oh no.
Yeah.
I kind of feel bad for them, but at the same time, who's in charge?
Yes, thank you. And also, and I can't believe I'm going to do this, regardless of what you have to say about maybe Madden or Call of Duty, they do come out on a yearly basis, but you get those games because the quality is always there to that extent, even if they don't have a campaign anymore. So they can, Activision didn't seem arrogant to me when they took the campaign out. It just seemed like, oh, you know what? We're going to try something new. If it screws up this year, don't worry, we'll be back next year. But I never, ever questioned that these games and the game modes in them would be functional. I never thought about that. I wasn't like, if I play Call of Duty and the Battle Royale just doesn't work,
it's their asterisk on the game. It's their prize. It's top notch. It's why they put the game out, for crying out loud. And that's a good point, Jimmy. And yearly games, but you know that they typically do no wrong. It's always what you expect is what you get for the most part. But
I guess I do agree with you there, Joe. Gamers. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm the way you said it is gamers can be pretty picky about some stuff, but then not picky about other things. Sometimes they can just be okay with Assassin's Creed being just whatever, but then Rockstar puts all this work and heart and energy into a game, and they fall short by some small little margin, and people still aren't it's still not good enough.
All the
I get
focus
that.
turns on the one thing that's not good enough. But
yeah,
like I said, I don't think Fallout necessarily falls in that category, because it sounds like there's some pretty big issues that wow, how could you even release it? But at the same time, I'm kind of thinking about there's people behind the game. It's people at the end of the day, and that's kind of rough. But hopefully maybe they'll put some efforts into fixing it in some fashion, knowing what's going on right now, which I'm sure will happen. So
I think that's the double-edged sword of video games. It's so cool because we can band together and speak out enough that they have to listen, because these games are on running, and that means they can make them better. But the problem is, a lot of times it seems like they're we'll just patch it the first day, or we'll patch it over time, like they're saying with this. But at the same time, Joe, you're right, because like if there's anything wrong with it, it's just like there's too many things out there right now where you can be like, I'm really overly critical or really angry about this thing, and I'm done. Like, I don't care if they fix, like, Levi, if they fix Fallout 76 now, it's too late. Like, you're selling this game. Like, they lost you. Like,
Yeah,
you're like, I'm not putting money into this game anymore. Why?
Mhm.
You know, and to have microtransactions in this game, like $15 for skins and stuff for a first-person shooter for a game that you paid $60 for in the first place is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like
I'm pretty burned already with stuff that's happened like this before. Like I said, Master Chief Collection came out however many years ago,
dude. Yeah, dude.
For years and years, Bungie has been saying, "Oh, we'll fix it. Oh, we'll fix it." But why? Why do you have to?
Yeah.
Take the time to do it right the first time, and then people don't get pissed. And it's I try not to sound like, a spoiled little brat, because I get what you're saying, Joe. There's real people behind it, but again, like if you are, I just don't have any respect for you as a gaming company, as Bethesda, or the team behind this project, because they knew damn well what they were doing by taking the same engine and scooping out all of its insides and reselling it and then making it a cash cow. Like, it might have been a corporate decision, but the people on that worked on that game should be like, we fucked up. We shouldn't have done this.
Yeah, I think it'd be an easier pill to swallow too if they had better representation. Like if the person, because Todd Howard's kind of, I don't know if he is technically the game director for this, but he just kind of comes off very cocky and smarmy and stuff. But it would be nicer. It'd feel less horrible if someone came out and they're like, "Hey guys, like, hi, you haven't seen me before. My name is Dave, and I've been working on Fallout 76 for a heck of a long time. This is a very ambitious project. It's going to have a lot of problems. I'm so sorry about that, but like we're trying our best to make this work. And here, like, we're not going to charge you full price for this game. It'll be $20 or $30 or even free to play, and you can buy skins. And if you want to support the game, then maybe we can make it into what we want it to be. But it's very ambitious. If they were to come out like that,
that's a Kickstarter.
Yeah, it is. It's a kick. Yeah, they should have done
Kickstarter.
This thing. And they have the money. They've got the money. They've sold Skyrim like 1,000 times. Like,
oh yeah, like and it's tough because we can only really speak on a consumer level. None of us work in the video game industry, so
not yet.
That team, that's their job, and like that's it, But I would be like, fuck, I don't want to be, I don't want to be attached to this. Yeah, that's like some musicians leave bands because they're like, I don't want anybody hear this album that's coming out that's trash, and my name be on it.
Yeah, and then the reverse is opposite though for Rockstar, where I think it was like if you quit within like it was like a 3-year thing. They're like you have to be in this to get your name like credited on this game. You have to be in from starting like this date forward. So it's like those people devote like everything they've got to this game to be like, I just want to be part of it. So it's just like.
But then you can tell because you can see the heart is there, and you can just tell that they put a lot of time and energy and heart into it. So,
Joe, is there anything else you want to say about this too? Just because it's interesting. I love hearing you guys' takes on this stuff. I don't think there's any like real right or wrong answer as far as like how consumers and people view this sort of thing. But this is a specific case. That's interesting.
Yeah, I was just playing devil's advocate a little bit for the company, but yeah.
And I respect. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up though, Joe, because like I look at like CD Projekt Red and like really feeling like there's actual human beings behind those projects like The Witcher and stuff, and like those people trying to be very consumer friendly and consumer focused on their games. And you're right, there are humans behind these games, and there's probably so many of them that feel just horrible about this. I bet they're just like, this game's not ready, and they're like, we're launching next week. Like they're like,
I would just be like, no, I don't want my name anywhere on this.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to be a fly on the wall in the development rooms, just kind of like,
or the quality assurance rooms. Like, are there people reporting bugs constantly? They're like, yeah, guys, I reported like 1,000 bugs today. Yeah. They're like, there's this.
Too late. We already committed. We'll have to patch it later.
And corporate's just like, nope, we're pushing it through. Like, this is what they want.
Yeah. And how many people would have been more happy for them to? Sorry, guys, we're gonna have to push release a month.
Yeah, or
people would have been mad, but they would have stuck on with
a delayed game can be like saved, but a rushed game is forever bad. It's forever bad. And plus, I think they were kind of hoping that the community would find all the bugs and stuff, which they were trying to do with their beta. that didn't like was abysmal, and people were like, yeah, I was playing it after the beta at these like preview events, and they're like, and it still had problems. And then the fact that they even like reskinned like the final boss, which spoiler is a dragon from Skyrim that they made into like a fire bat for this game, but it's got the same animations and everything, and people were like, it's the same friggin' thing. That's like, ugh.
Yeah.
2018. It's 2018. Come on, you're better than this, Bethesda. Are you though? I don't know. People say you are. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Okay. Anyway, great one. Let's end on a fun one though. This one comes in from Missile Mage, and we love you, Missile Mage. He asks us, are there any films that you know are terrible from a filmmaking perspective, but love them nevertheless? Hashtag Critical Podcast. He says, for example, I unironically love Mamma Mia. And you know what? Why not? That's a happy-go-lucky movie. Joe, you got a movie that you love, even though you think it's just probably just all around kind of stupid, bad? Yeah.
Some people may say the Underworld movies.
Okay, maybe.
I like the first two and Rise of the Lycans. The rest of them are pretty but some people, they got a cult following. Clearly, they made
some money.
Third and fourth one? So
yeah, fourth and fifth, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that nuts? They made it. There's 5 of those things. Holy.
Yeah, Rise of the Lycans seems a little separate or outlier, but needless to say, probably a greater percentage of people are like, those are mediocre films. But for me, I thought as far as like horror, adventure, action, I really liked the second one a lot. I think the storyline was really well done and connected in the first and flowed really well. And I enjoyed it. But after that, they just started to go downhill. I don't know who those Swedish brothers were, but what the hell?
I love you always bring it up. You're like very specific about the directors. Like, there's the Swedish brothers in that Awakening, and it was garbage. Like, it's like,
Was Awakening the one where they were like tunneling everywhere in the castle? Was that the one? Where's that Rise of the Lycans?
I think it's the castle one. It's like medieval more.
I just remember like the premise for Underworld being so cool. Like,
it's such a cool
underground vampire society, and it's like, that's awesome. But then, yeah.
Awakening, where she's looking for her daughter after waking up in a free cell or whatever and stuff.
Oh wait, that's Awakening.
Yeah, and they've got that
Resident Evil.
Crazy, stupid.
That's the one. That is the one because she learns she has a daughter.
Yeah, exactly. And then in that giant lichen, and then at the end that super lichen guy that's like fused or something. I don't know what he is. Something
they chuck that one down the like an elevator shaft, and it looks like garbage. There's some part in there is like
started to rely on a lot of CG, which really screwed things up. And they turned the lichens into something truly kind of ominous and scary. They turned them into kind of cannon fodder and ugly, bad CG.
It's kind of like not bad CG, but it's like the Hulk, Joe. They just take these things you like and they just twist them.
That large lichen deal, that like son of the leader or whatever, he reminds me of when has anybody seen the live action Scooby-Doo where Scrappy turns into that giant dog thing?
Yes.
That's all I can think about, and I'm like, movie ruined.
Scrappy dude.
I think of anything I've seen Kate Beckinsale do, she's done a few things that are pretty good.
I was gonna say, back in the day, I always used to get like Kate Beckinsale and Mila Jovovich like too muddled together because it was like Underworld and Resident Evil were like coming out same time.
Always do it.
Like it was like this. It's just both are getting bad at like at the same time, and yeah.
Trust me, there's a difference. Anyway.
I love Mila though. I do love her.
Yeah, I just I think she portrayed that character well. It started out with some strong legs and really had a cool vibe to it, and then all of a sudden it got really foreign and weird at the end. And I was just like, ugh.
You're supposed to talk about films that you love, Joe, not the films that you hate.
But I do love them. I mean, I kind of draw the line at the Rise of the Lycans. After that, I lost my love for them. But I'll still go back and watch those first 3.
Sure, I get that.
Are we saying this is like a secret guilty pleasure kind of thing? Is that the premise?
Maybe kind of to some degree, but like and he said filmmaking from a filmmaking aspect, even though I wouldn't Yes, a filmmaking perspective. I wouldn't say Mamma Mia is like a bad like from a
It's like
filmmaking
critically acclaimed. A lot of people,
or just like the shots and stuff. Maybe it's just kind of like to say, but maybe just like a
Okay.
not beloved film that you just love unironically, where you're just like, man, I love this. I know a lot of people hate it, but I
Twilight.
love it. Twilight,
Yeah.
dude, that's a perfect example.
I love Twilight, and I know a lot of people hate it, but there's some valid reasons why I love it. So
I will defend everything in Twilight except for like the actual plot.
yes,
Setting, music, I love it.
Yes.
I love it all. I'm like, this
I've
is
said
cool.
it before. The setting, the music, yes.
Pacific
Which-
Northwest works
Yeah,
for
which
everything.
thinking about Sabrina, that is what that movie or that show is pulling off of, man. They
Mhm.
want to be like, they get that. They'll be like, we've got some kind of fun music. We also kind of like it. What's kind of a
I
coniferous?
can't tell
forest.
what year it is.
It's got to be like, it has to be modern, right? Because I know the old cars, but he's got the phone. Harvey's got the phone.
Everything they do is old. There isn't a computer to be seen except for the phone.
Well, it's like same same timeline as Archie and Riverdale, so it's
Yeah, and they do
still-
call out Riverdale. So
yeah.
yeah.
The cast of Riverdale was like, we didn't even know we were connected. So
Yeah, they're like, whatever, cool. The showrunner's like, you're all connected. We're making our own Marvel Cinematic Universe. Nobody needs to know.
it's like Marvel calling like Justice League and being like, hey, by the way.
Yeah. Do you like Twilight? Do you like Twilight though for like a specific reason though, Levi? Besides what I mentioned.
It's just a guilty pleasure of mine. Like I could watch those movies just because of the music and I love that like setting of like forks and stuff, and I don't hate Jennifer Aniston or whatever the heck her name is.
Kirsten Stewart.
Yep.
Or
I don't
Kristen?
hate Kristen. Yeah, I don't hate her as much as people
Yeah.
do, but
It's so hard, and like I my dream is to be in like a big talking pictures one day in movies, and just to have people just, if they don't like your personality, just be like, man, she always has her mouth open all the time, and she's just like, she's a mouth breather, and she's so stupid, and she's always touching her hair, and it's just like, maybe she was directed to do some of these things, maybe, I don't know, like,
yeah.
I'm
And
not
then
sure.
it's like, but she makes more than you'll ever make in your entire life. So
Yep, exactly. So she's probably like, this sucks, but I will live. It's fine.
Dude, what's so wrong with being a mouth breather?
Joe, you're hilarious. I got a few I could rattle off quick. One I talked about recently, Kung Pao Under the Fist, a movie that was done a
Yes.
lot on green screen, but at the same time, lots of practical like sets and stuff. And I unironically love that movie.
That's
even
the
though,
like little like
yeah, even though it is super duper, like someone asked me, and I was talking about with this Brandon Jones, he's on a few weeks ago, and he was like, oh, that's a good pick for, we were talking about some other movies. And someone had asked like, oh, is that culturally insensitive? I was like, yep, but it was made like early 2000s,
Mhm.
like, end of the 90s or around there. And it's just a movie that it's kind of like a timestamp. And I'm not saying that that's okay. They could make it today because they totally couldn't make it the same way today. People would be like, this is a racist abomination.
yeah.
But yeah, I love that. I was looking up here, Jurassic Park 3. I think it's a lot of hate. I think it's better than Lost World. I like Spinosaurus. I like the Pteranodon sequence. There's a lot of things in that movie I enjoy.
There's
And
some
then-
redeemable qualities there for sure. I like
Also,
that. Good pick.
and then the last two, which I'm sure a lot of people wouldn't say are bad from a filmmaking perspective, but probably a lot of nowadays would say Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore aren't great films. Still freaking love them. That was
Yeah.
when Sandler peaked.
Waterboy. I love Waterboy.
But these two movies are better than Waterboy. Waterboy is really like, even at the time, I was like, this seems insensitive. Even back in the day, I was
Really?
like,
I did like that. I just love the stuff with like Vicky Valentine and Mama, and
the best part of that whole movie is when
My mama says.
when Henry Winkler takes a baseball and he's like, you know what I did after that? I went under my desk and I cried. I cried like a 12-year-old girl, and he whips the baseball out the window and it hits the KFC guy in the head. And he's like, ah, and then he falls down. Stuff like that is not in comedies anymore. Like, they don't do quick cuts to something stupid like that.
no.
And I really miss it. Like, little side stories that make no sense. Like in Happy Gilmore, he befriends a hobo who wants to just wash his car, and he's like, and this guy is like bathing in the ponds at the golf courses, and then like someone will put a coin down on the ground to like mark where their golf ball is, and the guy will just go over and pick it up, and he's like, it's like, or you'll put a cracker on the ground to mark where the ball is and take it up and eat the cracker.
I think that's a bummer. Like Adam Sandler has such a funny crew of people around him before, and now it's like it's just dumb. Like you get movies like Click, and you're like, you just tried too hard to keep relevant.
I'll never forget that movie. I think I even saw it in theaters, and that twist at the end, or spoilers
Even
for Click.
Jack and Jill is just.
Oh God, Jack and Jill's a travesty. But Click, where he's like Christopher Walken's like, I'm the angel of death, and it's just like, why? Who thought this plot was good? It was like, oh, it's like a romantic comedy where he's like married to Kate Beckinsale, isn't she hot? Oh, he keeps.
Yeah.
And then it's like, nope, it's horrible.
Best part of that movie, Kate Beckinsale is in it.
Also, I think this isn't necessarily for me, but I think some people, I'll speak for them, is that maybe Austin Powers would pop up here, as like. Not great films, but people are like, you know what? A freaking Austin Powers just kind of.
Well, people kind of like hate Mike Myers now too, don't they?
Kind of. He's making somewhat of a resurgence because I think they're gonna reboot Shrek, and I think they're gonna try to bring him and Antonio Banderas back potentially. Maybe I don't know if that's for sure, but they're gonna bring Shrek and Puss in Boots back. So, yeah, because there's a series that went like off the rails in a stupid way, like Underworld, Joe. It was like the first ones were okay, and then it was like, and then it was like, oh no, it's like not. It's like a roller coaster. You going straight up for a bit, and then it's like, oh.
Shrek would not have been as successful though if Disney had made it, because they got away with a lot of stuff that Disney was probably like, we can't do that.
Yeah, that's all DreamWorks is, man. It was like a bunch of some like ex-Disney people were like, well, let's just be like PG instead of G, and Disney's like, yep, good freaking luck with that. And they still did really well. Shrek did really well.
Oh yeah, Shrek did really well. Yeah.
But Shrek's, while a household name, is not like, oh man, people just freaking love Shrek so much. But I will say Kung Fu Panda, for titles like Crazy Rich Asians, movies that have bad titles that are actually pretty good. And that Kung Fu Panda, that Master Oogway, the old tortoise, 10 out of 10. One of the best characters in film. I love him. He's like Yoda, but oh god, so good. Great animation in that one too. Don't knock DreamWorks. There's How to Train Your Dragon, also stupid name. They need better names for these movies where they're like, describe the movie in like 5 words or less. And they're like, it's a Kung Fu Panda. And they're like, How to Train Your Dragon. Oh, okay. Like they're not even trying anymore. Anyway, that's going to do it for the show this week. If you ever have a question or a topic you want to suggest to us, the boys here, we can talk about it. All you have to do is tweet the hashtag Critical Podcast to any of us. You can tweet at our official account, which is at GoCritical. That's a capital G or a capital C. And I am at JimmyGood013 if you want to tweet at me personally. But if you'd like to tweet at Mr. Lever, you can tweet at
Lever_627.
Excellent. And if you'd like to tweet at Levi, you can tweet at
Lever just like Beaver. You gotta say it.
No.
My OCD will not allow you to not say, Joe. Anyway, I'm at Levi Fletcher. Yeah.
Perfect. Excellent. If you want to hang out with us over on Twitch, you can do so on Monday and Fridays and other times too. That's twitch.tv/critical reviews. So go check that out. Hang out with us. I just finished Darksiders 3. We're probably playing some Super Smash over there. Hopefully get it all set up so I can either fight Levi online or fight Katie or do stuff like that. Not in real life, though. I'm not going to fight my sister. I'll be like, hold your baby. Let's go. It's like, but I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be fun. If you want to support us, consider checking out our Spreadshirt. You can get some cool merch over there. Tell your friends about all that stuff. But I also want to thank a few people. I want to thank This Is Dale for our intro, outro music. And I want to thank the one and only Yoren Evers, who's basically doing pretty much all the art you see here on the show. So if you like the art, please check out at Niraj28 or at Jade Circle Art over on Twitter and his Instagram. It should all be linked below. But please go do that. It's excellent. It is so good. I stare at it. It's on my phone. It's on my desktops. I stare at it all the time. It inspires me. It really does. But Yoren is working on a special project right now, and I'll read you a brief synopsis. When David opens a mysterious box that transforms his arm into an alien weapon, he at first uses it for good to right the wrongs of his high school. But as more of his body is transformed, he finds that playing God comes with its own set of new, self-destructive perils. Blue Beetle, Chronicle, Venom, all those things. Which, by the way, Joe, when Venom comes out here, I want to watch it with you. No commentary needed. I just want to be there while you're watching it the first time so I can listen to you.
I honestly think it's a must, Jimmy.
I need to be there. Yes, but if you want to support us and Yoren and pretty much everything we do here all at the same time, consider checking us out at patreon.com/critical reviews. Throw in $1. That would really help. Or you can share us with a friend if you can't donate. I totally understand. We really appreciate all the people. We've got a few new patrons, which is really cool. So thank you to everybody who's been listening to the shows and who's finally taken the plunge, as it were. We really we wouldn't be making this stuff the same way without you guys. So thank you so much. Joe, thank you for being on the show again. I appreciate it as always. Yes, and Levi, it's good to have you back, man. I appreciate you taking time out of watching The Beagle. What's his name for people who don't know?
Mortimer, Morty for short.
Mortimer. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wait. What? Because okay, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, like his birth certificate says Mortimer, but we call him Morty.
Okay. Cool. Nice. Excellent. Well, thank you, everybody who watched, who listened. Please tweet at us, leave a comment, let us know what you think of the show. And until next time, just remember to adapt and overcome. We'll see you later. Bye.